Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Compliments of the season to you all. And I welcome you to another promising session as we take a technical dissection of the XAUUSD chart. Well, since this is a follow-up detail to my previous analysis, I would like us to have a quick review of the key moments that we had during the course of last week's trading session before we dive into what our expectations are for the new week. And talking about last week, last week trading session started on a bearish note, as you can see here, and this was my first commentary on Monday last week, as we saw price action began the week at the 1,971 level, and we had a support zone sitting between the 1,957 and the 1,950 level. And actually, at the beginning of the week, I was thinking that we might be seeing selling momentum for the week after considering the bearish signal that we saw at the beginning of the week. But that did not happen, as we saw how price action got into the sell window we identified around that area, and in fact it broke out of that sell window during the course of the week. And immediately I identified this structure around the sell window. This was what I was able to pull out from a much more lower time frame, that is the 30 minutes time frame. So I had this trend line coupled with that key level at the 1,965, where a break above of that level and the trend line will give us a buy opportunity, whereas continued selling pressure below the 1,965 will welcome selling opportunities. And we saw the breakout of the 1,965 to the upside, which triggered our first buy position for the week, and we were hoping that price action breaking out of the 1,980 level will welcome more trading opportunities. And as you can see here, we had a second position triggered as price action broke out of the 1,980. We also identified the structure here had the 1,990, waiting for another opportunity to add more position to our existing trade. But what happened here was quite interesting. We saw selling pressure resume below the 1,990 to give us a scenario where price action appeared to have gone through a retracement of that previous impulsive move that brought price into the 1,990 level. Now, as soon as price tested the 1,978 here, I think I did some readjustment here, okay, here. So as soon as price tested the 1,978, we saw a little consolidation between the 1,982 and the 1,978. And you all know what we look out for when we have this kind of simple flat channel. It's either price breaks out or break down the channel for trading opportunity. And what we saw here on Tuesday was a breakout of the 1,982 to trigger our second buy position, and at the same time the inception of the second wave of the bullish momentum that started the week. And as you can see here, we saw a breakout of the 1,990 level, which also welcomed additional position to our existing trade. And as soon as price got into that $2,025 mark, we saw a flat channel here where price action continued to consolidate within, and then you saw the situation continue like this. So we waited for a breakout of the $2,025 level to welcome more buy position. And as you can see here, we had a buy position triggered, but that did not last too long, as we saw price action take us out of all the buy position at that point. And with that situation there, we begin to see selling pressure during the second half of last week's trading session, giving us a clue that price action might go into a retracement phase. And as you can see here, we saw selling pressure resume, triggered our sell position. It didn't last long. We were taken out again, and we saw another sell momentum come in. And during the second half of last week, it was more of a selling pressure as price action went through a very choppy scenario. So this was what we had during the course of last week before the public holiday on Friday. And if you do want to have a look into this, you could check the description in the comment section of this video. And if you are watching this from my YouTube channel, you will be seeing the link at the top right hand side of your screen. So with that being said, here we shall be diving right into the current market structure, and what I will be looking at is the daily time frame first of all, so that we can have an holistic perspective into what is really going on in this market. And if you have been with me on the XAUUSD for the last couple of weeks, you will see that the structure we have on the daily time frame still remain very valid, as we have an ascending channel here, which further emphasizes the strength of the buyers at this particular point in time. Now, when we zoom into the structure of last week's trading session, probably a couple of weeks into last week's trading session, you will see how price action had consistently tested that resistant line of that ascending channel. Then we had a couple of situations here where price action went into a consolidation phase, leading to the first breakout of the $2,000 mark here during the course of last week's trading session. And we saw price action drop back into the $2,000 level. We saw some buy pressure resume around that area on Thursday, and because of the public holiday, we didn't see any trading activity following that Thursday move. Now, with the situation we have here, what is going to be our expectations for the new week? Well, first of all, I would like to call our attention to the psychological expectation around this area, as it will also help us to have a clue into what to expect in the coming week. Now, one thing about price action hitting a new high is the fact that there is some level of indecision will definitely happen around that area, as it's going to be the first time price will be hitting a new level, especially this year. Throughout the course of this year, that's the first time price will be getting into that area, and it will take some time for price action to acclimatize with the structure. And as a result of this, trying to adapt to the situation, we are likely going to be seeing some consolidation or retracement phases around this area, where participants are not sure if price action will go to the upside, will continue to the upside, or we might likely see a crash from that area. And one thing for sure is you will be seeing the dominance of the emotion of fear happening around this area, as most people, most participants who are taking advantage of price at a lower point, let's say the 1,950, would want to close some of their position to take off some profit off the chart. And this is going to probably reflect in the form of a choppy situation in the market. So now the question for the week is, with the $2,000 level, which has been broken for the first time this year, turn out to be a buying platform for a trend continuation to the upside? That is, will price climb to the upside from this level, breaking out of that resistant line to signal another wave of bullish momentum? Or are we going to be seeing a situation where price will drop below the $2,000 level, and continued selling pressure below the structure on our lower time frame might incite a retracement back into structure, probably before another wave of bullish momentum will happen? So to answer this question here, I was able to identify a simple setup on our lower time frame, which I think we can use to guide our trading activity for this week. But before we go into the lower time frame, I would like us to keep tabs with the fundamental aspect of the market. As you all know, even though we have a technical position in the market, we still need a catalyst that will bring liquidity into the market to drive price movement in whatever direction we are positioning ourselves ahead of. So with that being said, we shall be going into the economic calendar, and for this coming week, I was able to pull out a couple of events. Remember, Monday is a public holiday, so we are going to be looking at activities between Tuesday and Friday of this week. So the first major event that will be affecting the XAUUSD this week is the Consumer Price Index, which is coming up on Wednesday, April 12th. And the Consumer Price Index is a measure of price movement by the comparison between the retail prices of a representative shopping basket of goods and services. And if you look at the data that came in, the previous data that came in here, we have a 0.5% and we have a consensus projection of 0.4%, which is a little bit on the downside there. And let's see what will happen on Wednesday. Let's see what the actual figure will bring. Then on that same day, we have the FOMC minute coming up, which is always released by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, and it always includes a clear guide into the future US interest rate policy, which is what everyone is actually looking forward to. And this will also be another catalyst that will be bringing some liquidity into the market on that Wednesday. Then the final one is Friday here, where we have the retail sales, which measures the total receipt of retail stores in the US. And we have previous data coming at minus 0.4%, and we're still projecting a minus 0.4% on that one too. Then we have the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, which is always released by the University of Michigan, and it is a survey of personal consumer confidence in the economic activity. So it gives us a picture of whether or not consumers are willing to spend money. So this is another high impact event that every one of us will be looking forward to, and we shall be seeing the reflection or the anticipation of these events reflect on the chart as price action. So with that being said, here we shall be diving right into the lower time frame, where I said we are going to be identifying a very simple setup that we can use to guide our trading activity for this week. So here we are on the 4 hours time frame, and what I did here was to spool out price activity in the last 1 month, and obviously you can see that price action has been on a bullish trend, which is further emphasized with that bullish trend line that you can see on your screen right now. And one thing that we'll also want to take note of at this point is that $2,000 mark, which was initially the highest point before prior to last week's trading session. As you can see how that level also has been a major determinant of price action, and in fact we are going to be using this level to guide our trading activity for this week. Look at what happened here a couple of weeks ago. We saw how this level was a strong selling niche. We saw the same thing happen here during the last week of the month of March, before the breakout of the structure happened at the beginning of this month. And as soon as price got into that $2,032 level, we saw some rejection of that area, giving us a clue into some selling pressure coming in at that point, which I'm of the opinion is as a result of one, indecision, two, fear that participants are not sure that price might continue to the upside from that level, and three, majority would want to be doing some profit taking activities, which could come out to reflect on the chart as a retracement to the downside. So these are things that could be happening around this area, and in fact since the breakout of the $2,000 mark, you can see how price action had continued to trade between the $2,032 and the $2,000 area. So going into the new week right now, this is where our center of focus is going to be. So using the $2,000 level as our yardstick for trading activity, continued buy pressure above this level might likely incite a trend continuation to the upside. So if we start seeing higher highs and higher lows on our lower time frame right above the $2,000 mark, we might be in for another wave of bullish momentum, where a further breakout of the $2,032 level will welcome more opportunities to add more position to our existing trade. However, if at any point in time during the course of the week we sight a situation where price drops below the $2,000 mark, selling pressure below the structure, then we might be in for a retracement phase, where we shall be monitoring our participants in the market our price action will react with that bullish trend line, where buying pressure might incite another wave of bullish momentum, where price will be respecting that bullish trend line one more time. And if a breakdown of the bullish trend line happens, then we might be in for another opportunity to add more sell position to our existing trade. So it's quite a simple setup we have here on the GP on the 4 hours time frame. So this is what we shall be using to guide our trading activity for this week. So I'll be pausing the video at this point, and I hope that the illustration herein has been of immense help in making your personal decision on the XAUUSD for the week. And if it truly did, kindly support this project by clicking the like button. You would also want to follow me on my TradingView platform at Dark Sherry so that you can be part of the daily commentaries I normally share on all of my videos. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you right in the comment section on at the beginning of the week after monitoring how participants in this market will be reacting to the structure I will be dishing in my ideas in the comment section. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone, and once again, happy Easter to you all, and I look forward to seeing you at the beginning of the week. Bye bye.